Welcome back, players. I'm Ryan Gomez.
And I'm Liana Burnside.
And we are counting down the top 10 pre-selling cards from Curse of the Frozen Casket.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Liana, you've had a chance to play in the pre-release already. Yes. You got to look at this list of cards. Does it match with what your expectations are, or are we going to find some surprises here as we count it down?
I definitely think, as we're looking at the kind of cards that are selling, it's interesting to see, like, they all definitely have a strong reason of why they're on the list. But just the way Force of Will is with, like, a lot of times the key cards like your ruler, you only need one of.
Sure, so it's going to cut down on the volume sold. I get it.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, well, let's jump into the list, and you guys can follow along at home, see if you're surprised by any of these here. So, number 10, Sorceress of the Heavenly Wind.
Melfi.
Yeah. Melfi. All right, so what's going on with this one?
That's not a surprise at all. Basically, Feith's scene is rotating out and Melfi's rotating in. People want her because she can produce any kind of will that you need, and so it's all decks want her. It's not just the green decks or the ramp decks, which is why I think she's probably in the top 10, is that everyone's going to find use for her.
Sure, so it's a very logical kind of replacing something that's already established and tested and well known, and we're getting a 1-for-1 there. All right, cool. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about our number 9 card, Shackles of Ice.
Once again, the answer for Reflect Reflame that came just a little bit too late after the Banhammer.
Okay.
But, this meta is so, dominated by powerful rulers, and a lot of the key strategies focus on them, that something that completely shuts them down or that can shut down other activated abilities. It makes sense that people want that.
Sure. Okay. Number 8, here's one that I want. Tiger Lily. Rawr. She seems great, but also not great, let's be honest.
I played with her at the pre-release, and I actually was unimpressed with how she did. It always felt like there wasn't a good time to use her because I was always, she's always going to die in the trade, etc. I think she'll be better in Constructed, though, when you can make use of things like Beast Queen's Counterattack or, Blood-Covered War Axe, things like that.
Sure.
So, yeah, there's definitely a reason. I just think she may be a little bit overhyped. I'm skeptical.
Okay, we'll keep our eye on it. How about coming in at number 7 here, Creature from Chaos?
Right. Of all the Eldrazi that, make it into the top 10 list, it's this one drop.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that this is going to change the way I think the meta flows. It's going to slow it down a lot because, so far it's been get out of the gates quick, get in as many hits as possible. But when you can drop something for 1 that basically says, you really have to think, something's going to die if I block it. Yeah.
That's a lot to think about. Okay. Number 6, we've got Captain Hook, the Pirate.
And there's always a place for fairy tales. They have so much going on that there's so many different strategies. It's going to be pretty easy for him to find a home and slide in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting to note that, dual stones didn't rotate out, so we're going to need a way to deal with them. So instead of Split Heaven and Earth, Captain Hook is going to be the logical option.
And you know what? You just need a good villain out there. And
right.
In terms of good villains, Captain Hook, he's up there. So, rawr, maybe. Okay. Into the top 5 now. Let's look at Flame Dragon of Altia.
Yes, and this one I definitely think it's just people saw Gwyber. Gwyber was an awesome card. Mm-hmm. Flame Dragon of Altia has a lot of similarities on the surface. It can be cheap, flying 1,200. I think they maybe overestimated though because it's only cheap if you don't have any cards in your hand.
Right.
If you even have 1 card in your hand, you're looking at paying, 3 and then 4. So unless you're burning through your hand very quickly, this isn't that great of a value. And you're also, you're not going to have any answers after you play this card.
Sure.
So
you could just be Captain Hook and just have 1 hand, and then does that not make it cheaper? If you
I don't think so.
All right, I'll ask a judge. Number 4, Zero's Familiar.
Yeah, this one surprised me on the surface, but then I thought about this, and this won several games at the pre-release. People who were playing Zero as their ruler, if they drew 1 or even 2 of these in their sealed pool. It's devastating. It's a cheap flyer. It gives your J-Ruler barrier, which is always great.
Yeah.
And then if you're playing Zero, it becomes way bigger than it needs to be.
Sure.
So yeah, I think Zero is definitely, if you're playing Zero as your ruler, it's an auto-include. But I even think it's going to find its way into some other decks because that barrier is definitely a very good ability.
Very attractive. Okay. Number 3, Glorious the Silver Knight. So glorious.
Right. Yeah. Oh, glorious. Yeah. This is definitely, it's just a plain good card. And that's why, it's just on the surface, face value for what it is. It's cheap removal. It's an aggressive attacker. Quick cast is always nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of know what you're getting, and I don't see it comboing crazy with anything yet. But at the same time, combos sometimes take a while to show themselves.
Absolutely. It's kind of a new set. We're still feeling our way through it here. Number 2, Charlotte's Water Transformation Magic.
Right. This also was another one that I was surprised to see on this list. But, obviously people are smarter than me, because at the pre-release, this thing was such a pain in my side. It's actually basically removal, because you swing with a powerful resonator thinking you're going to get in. They block with something mid-range and then nerf you into 400, so your resonator dies, and then they can do it again with Remnant.
Sure.
So it was nasty.
The old 1-2 punch. I like it. All right, number 1 card, the most pre-ordered card from Curse of the Frozen Casket. Do you guys at home know what it is? Pause the video, think about it for a second. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. All right, we'll get right to it. It is Zero's Magic Light.
Yeah. So once again, the cards on this list are more reflective, I think, of what rulers are going to dominate. And after looking at this list and after playing the pre-release, it's pretty obvious that Zero's hands down the best ruler from this set.
Sure.
And Zero's Magic Light is just one of the reasons she is so hard to play against, is because it's amazing removal for one. And it's not just, it's a great against strategies too that can pull stuff out of the graveyard, because it just removes them from play completely.
Yeah, so a whole lot of great stuff you can do. That's a quick look at the top 10 pre-sellers here for Curse of the Frozen Casket. A lot of cool cards in there. We're very excited to get these cards in our hands.
Yes.
It'll be here before you know it. So make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We'll be bringing you great Force of Will content going forward here, and we can't wait to get out there and play. Anything to say to the friends back at home?
Oh man, other than I'm still hoping Aliceris will be good one day. Maybe with some of this, Cheshire Cat stuff.
All right, well, my hopes are with you on that one. All right, that's it for this time. Thanks for watching. We had a lot of fun. Bye.
Yeah, bye.